Hey, so I've got the 601 Green Label Oscuro La Fuerza. This is the Robusto size, so it's a 5.5 by 54. This has all Nicaraguan tobacco with an Oscuro wrapper, and it's supposed to be full in body and strength. These are hand-rolled in the, what is it called? The La Zona factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. And supposedly they have a really good reputation, so I'm looking forward to getting into this. It doesn't have a whole lot of scent to it. Yeah, it's really, really faint. A little bit, very, very lightly sweet with kind of an earth and hay, kind of a grassy scent to it. Really not anything too strong. It feels relatively firm. Oh, I got a 5-pack of these for, I think, 35 bucks from famous-smoke.com. And I'm going to soak this outside. I will cut open what's left at the end so that you can see the... So this one really doesn't have a lot of flavor before lighting, but it has a nice draw to it. Nice amount of smoke, and after lighting it starts up with a kick of a gingerbread type of spice, you know, with those kind of warm notes to it, a little bit of cinnamon in there, mixed with just this really beautiful creaminess, just rich, creamy, smooth right from the start, which is some of my favorite flavors in a stick. It kind of has a little bit of a peanut buttery, roasted kind of vibe, just kind of that full, rich flavor in your mouth. Absolutely gorgeous stacked ash right from the start, just really pretty. And then the second third has a little bit more spice here, and it starts to kind of settle in at the back of the throat. There's a buttered toast type of flavor, just kind of that smooth, rich kind of butter flavor mixed with a little bit of coffee and cream. Gorgeous combination. There's some leather here kind of lightly, and then a slight flavor of like a molasses type of sweetness really rounds it out very nicely. Smoking beautifully at the end of the second third. Like I said, really nice amount of smoke all throughout. Good draw. Starting to get a little bit of a buzz kind of at the end of the second third. And then the last third really has more of like a little bit deeper flavors, dark chocolate. It's got more of that kind of a peppery spice rather than that gingerbread cinnamon kind of spice like it had earlier. Still really nice and smooth. I describe this overall as kind of medium to full. I don't think it was the fullest of the full, but nice and flavorful, and a medium strength here. This stick kind of reminds me of the CAO Brasilia, which I love, but just some of the flavors were kind of similar, certainly not identical, but I just kept thinking about that one. But overall, just beautiful, lovely stick to smoke. I can't say that the flavors were super complex or that there was a huge shift in flavors, but still very, very tasty nonetheless, and I really think that the construction makes up for that. Just a beautiful stick to smoke, absolutely maintenance free, beautiful to look at all throughout. I mean, the construction on this was just top notch for me, which is really important. I love to have a good smoke volume. I really like a nice crisp clean ash that I'm not worrying about tunneling up the one side or going out on me. Just overall, just fantastic. I was very pleased with this and definitely want to look at the brand for some other blends because this is my first stick from this brand. So yeah, if smooth and creamy is kind of your jam the way that it is mine, I think that you'll like this, and I would definitely recommend checking out famous-smoke.com to pick up some, and thanks for watching. I'd like to hear if you have a favorite from that line, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye now. Guys, so I've got one of the Acid Cuba Cubas today. I have smoked these before, but it's been a little while. These are made by Drew Estates. This is the Robusto, which I think is like the original size, so it's a 5-inch length, and then the 54 for the ring size. They say that, they don't say exactly what these are flavored with, but the tobacco is cured in a room with, like, they say 150 botanicals, oils, and herbs, and they leave it in that room for months while it's curing. It definitely has like a herb scent to it. It's different than other cigars. It doesn't smell especially sweet. There is a hint. There's like definitely like a little bit of a raisiny kind of a scent to it, but it also has almost like a tea, like an herbal tea kind of smell too. Okay, these are medium bodied. It's got a Sumatran wrapper and Nicaraguan filler. You can get 5 of these for around 40 or 45 bucks depending on where you get them. I'm going to go outside and smoke it, but I'll cut it open at the end and let you know what It's got the sweetened wrapper, so you get that right off the bat. It's constructed really nicely. It's smoked very evenly. The draw is nice and easy. It's not one that's too tight. It's not one that's too loose. No pieces were coming apart. Nothing was coming out in my mouth. It definitely is very unique. These have that herbal, kind of a floral, like to me, the best way to describe it is kind of like an herbal tea, sweetened herbal tea kind of a scent. And it's not, I don't want to say it's strong because that almost sounds like you don't know if you would like it. It's light enough that I think it would be appealing to most people, but you can smell it in the smoke. I could taste it in my mouth for a while, all throughout smoking the cigar, like that kind of herbally sweetened taste was in my mouth, which I really enjoyed. It held onto the ash for a long time. You could see it fall off just a little bit ago there, about halfway through. Smoked on this for probably a good 50 minutes to an hour. It has a nice strength to it. I definitely got a little buzz going from this. I even like the little wrapper or the label. It's a little bit longer than most, and it kind of gives you a nice spot to put your fingers when you're holding it. It's really smooth and nice. That's just a silly little thing, but I do prefer it over a lot of other labels. If you're looking for an alternative to this, I've already reviewed the CI Legends by Drew Estates. So it's a Drew Estates cigar. It's still made by them, but it's exclusively sold on the Cigars International website, or I don't know if they have stores. But the construction on that is so identical to this. Different flavor, but very similar. Love these cigars, and I would definitely recommend them to you guys.
Let's see what's inside. Yeah, so that gives you an idea what it looks like inside.
So I definitely still like these Cuba Cubas. It's been a little while for me, but I'll definitely keep these in the rotation, and I would recommend them to you guys. I'd love to hear if you like them or if you smoke something else from the Acid line. This is actually the only one that I've had from that line, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, guys. Hey guys, I've got one of the Acid cigars for you today. This is Toast. It has a Maduro wrapper. It's Nicaraguan tobacco. This is a 6-inch leaf with a 50 ring gauge, so it's a Toro size. These are cured in rooms with over 150 botanicals and herbs and oils and all that to flavor and infuse them. I think this one is supposed to be flavored with cherry. I will smoke it outside and then kind of let you know my thoughts throughout the video and cut what's left at the end so that you can see the filler. But just on first impressions, it smells really nice and less sweet than the Cuba Cuba, which I really like those. I have a video on my channel trying that out, or not trying it out, but reviewing it. And I smoked several of those, and they're really nice, but they are very, very sweet. And this smells less sweet and almost more kind of like cedar, or a little bit more woodsy smelling. I used a punch on this, which I'm really all about the punch lately, but it did work really nicely. It just keeps the end so clean and really enjoyable, but there was a good draw on this, very easy. It produced a whole lot of smoke, nice white ash that held on for a while. The taste on this is it has a really sweetened wrapper. It's just as sweet as the Cubas for sure, which I wasn't expecting because it doesn't smell quite as sweet. But it has a similar kind of taste to it. There was almost like a little bit of a fruity, sweet type flavor. Like it's not just a sugary sweet flavor. There's a little bit of a flavor to it. And I feel like it's similar to the CI Legends, which I've also reviewed those. The taste of the wrapper I think is pretty similar on those, which those are by Drew Estate, so that would make sense. But besides the sweetened wrapper, the scent on this is really gorgeous. That's probably the highlight for me, my favorite thing. It's actually kind of a festive holiday scent. It definitely smells like cedar. It definitely has that kind of spicy, peppery thing going on that, you know, adds to the kind of festive quality. And there's a very, very faint fruity scent to this, but it's mostly just that cedar, kind of a spicy, peppery, sweet scent, and it's just really gorgeous. There's not a ton of flavor on this one as far as what you're tasting. It's really lightly flavored. I don't think it's quite as strong in flavor as the Cubas, which is really the only thing I can compare it to, because that's the only other one that I've had from this line. But the Cuba, it has like a pretty strong herbal taste, and this toast one, the flavor isn't actually as strong. I think the scent was more noticeable to me than the actual flavor. So it's pretty lightly flavored, but it is sweet. You definitely taste the sweetness in your mouth. The sweetened wrapper carries through really the whole cigar, and you can taste it on your lips, you can taste it in your mouth. It's really mostly just a creamy, sweet flavor that I got all throughout, and I don't think the flavor changed throughout smoking, start to finish. And it has like an aftertaste of a kind of peppery, a little bit of a spicy thing. So really, really enjoyable. I might prefer these to the Cuba Cubas, just a little bit lighter on the flavor. And the scent on this, like I said, it's just really, really nice. Just generally very enjoyable. Seems nicely constructed. You'll see at the end I cut it open, and it's definitely a long filler. So basically, I'm just trying to say that I really loved it. If you like the idea of cedar, spice, herbally, sweet deliciousness, then you're gonna like it too. And I'm definitely intrigued to try some more of the acid line, so let me know, what your favorites are, or if I like this one, what other ones I may like too. So as always, I'd love to know if you've smoked one of those, or like something else from the brand, or just a general recommendation. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye now. Hey there, so today I've got this Aguila Robusto. This is a 6x52. These are exclusive to iHavanas.com, who are, I guess, mostly popular for selling Cuban cigars. They're located in Switzerland in a duty-free zone, and shipping to the U.S. took like maybe 5 days, less than that. Nicely packaged. These are about $5 a piece. It has an Ecuadorian Maduro wrapper with all Nicaraguan binder and filler, and it smells really great and unique. It's got this like strong pine woodsy kind of scent, but it also has this really fresh, almost like a eucalyptus kind of a scent to it. Feels pretty even, really no soft spots there. These are handmade in Nicaragua, and I'm going to smoke this outside. I will cut up what's left at the end so that you can see the filler, and I'll give you my thoughts throughout.
So I used a punch on this, and it definitely had more of a medium draw. There's some resistance there, and not a heavy smoke production, definitely on the medium side. And it starts up with a kick of red pepper and black coffee flavor. There's a little bit of campfire toasty wood flavor there as well. And then the second third moves into this really a lot smoother. There's a nice sweetness developing here. There's a little bit of like a graham crackery honey flavor, as well as some milk chocolate. There's also kind of a raisiny, fruity, sweet flavor here. This middle third is definitely the star for me. Delightful flavors, smoking perfectly even. The ash held very solidly for probably at least 2 inches with no flaking. And the draw really opens up here at the end of this, or middle maybe, of the second third, and a lot more smoke production, which is definitely more to my liking. The last third finishes out with more of that pepper and toasty wood flavor like in the first third, but here there's a little bit of a black coffee flavor as well. Very nice even burn on this. Nice construction overall. I enjoyed this one for sure, especially that middle third. I've smoked about 3 or 4 of these so far and consistently had a really reliable maintenance-free burn. This is the kind of thing that I'd suggest to have with coffee or something that's flavorful, because you're not going to be drowning out the flavors of this. That middle third was really nice, but I wasn't overall blown away with the rest of the flavors. Nice budget-friendly stick, great for doing chores. There isn't anything I'd complain about with this one, just not anything, just flavors that I wasn't super excited about. Well, with the exception of that middle third, that was very nice. So I'd say mellow to medium bodied with a light strength here. I really didn't get a buzz. So definitely mixed thoughts on these. I think for the price, it's a great construction, great burn, very reliable. Mixed thoughts on the flavors, and maybe with more time aging and in the humidor, which I'm going to do with some of mine, they may come out even better.
Thanks for watching. I'd love to hear if you have shopped with ihavanas.com or if you smoked that cigar specifically, and I'll catch you guys next time. Hey guys, so I've got a CAO Black for you today. This is one of CAO's first cigars, and it's really well loved, really highly rated. It's an aged blend of Nicaraguan, Honduran, and Mexican filler with an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper. This is the Robusto size, so it's a 5-inch length with a 50 ring size. I'm going to smoke it, and then I will cut open what's left at the end to show you the filler inside and let you know my thoughts. Alright, so this cigar cut really smooth. It's rolled nicely, just that right amount of tightness to hold together and have a nice construction, but loose enough that it was a very easy to medium draw. Not too easy, but it produced a lot of smoke without a lot of work. I really enjoyed the construction and just the overall build of this. Before lighting it, there was a sweet, kind of a raisiny, that kind of sweeter tobacco scent to it. It's not a sweetened tip or anything like that. This is not a flavor infused cigar. It has such a mellow taste on lighting it. Like the first third of the cigar almost has, I mean, I don't want to say no flavor because that sounds not appealing, but there's such a slight flavor to it. It's just creamy, super smooth. There's absolutely no bitterness to this at all, start to finish, and there's a very light flavor in your mouth, especially that first third. I mean, you know, you would take this cigar away from your mouth and there's almost no flavor there. None of that tobacco, nothing coating my mouth. The only thing that I noticed at that point was almost like that creamy kind of aftertaste, but really no tobacco flavor in my mouth. Then after the third, I started getting a little bit more of a tobacco flavor. A slight pepperiness was left as an aftertaste that lingered in my mouth, and that increased with intensity towards the end of the cigar. But it wasn't anything so strong. You know, a peppery, to me, doesn't sound super appealing, but in some way this really was. It was kind of more of like a little bit of a spice to it, but still no bitterness, very smooth. I mean, this is possibly the smoothest cigar that I've had. There's just something unique to it, that there was just absolutely no bitter taste, yet it's not a sweetened cigar. Also, the smoke on this had kind of a sweeter scent just to the smoke, kind of like a honey, sort of a vanilla kind of sweetness, which was interesting because there isn't a sweetness to the cigar. Like I said, it's definitely more of a spicy kind of flavor to it, but in a really smooth, creamy kind of a package to it. Here you can see the inside. It's definitely a long filler, really enjoyable. Left a slightly sweet scent on my hands, but not much aftertaste at all. Absolutely would recommend this and loved this cigar. I'd love to know if you've smoked one of these before, or if you have another favorite from the brand, or just a recommendation, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye now. Hey guys, so I've got a Flavors by CAO. This is the Moon Trance. This is a Robusto size, so it's a 5-inch length with a 48 for the gauge. This has a Cameroon wrapper with Dominican filler, and this is supposed to be flavored with bourbon, vanilla, and I believe Georgia peaches. So I haven't tried one of these, or actually I've smoked one of the smaller size before, but I haven't tried the Robusto yet. So I'm excited to see what this tastes like. It smells really nice and kind of sweet. It has that raisiny, definitely a vanilla scent to it for sure. Yeah, I mean a pretty strong vanilla scent and a little bit of a fruitiness as well, which I would assume was the peaches. So interesting to see if it tastes as good as it smells. So I'm going to smoke this outside, and I will cut open what's left at the end so that you can see the filler and give you my thoughts throughout. As I was cutting into this, I noticed kind of like a caramelized or like a cooked sugar or sweet pastry type of scent to it. Really nice, and it has a very slightly sweetened tip. It's to me the perfect level of sweetness. So many times the cap on a cigar is just overly sweetened, obviously on flavored cigars, and that takes away from it for me. So this was perfect, slightly sweet, not overpowering. The draw on this is perfect, lots of smoke, it burned very evenly. I used a punch on it and that was perfect. The flavor was pretty consistent throughout the cigar. I didn't notice really much of a change, and it was a slightly sweet with a creamy, definitely pronounced vanilla flavor, and kind of that toasty caramelized sugar, or like I said, like a pie crust, some kind of pastry. That flavor definitely carried through the entire cigar. And it smells mostly of vanilla, and like I said, that didn't really change too much either. It's just very smooth and creamy, really, really enjoyable cigar. I mean, just one of those that you just don't feel like you have to do anything special to. I could have smoked 3 of these in a row. Just really easy. The flavors are not overpowering, but there's enough flavor there to keep it interesting. Like I said, just not overly sweet, which I just can't say enough how much I enjoyed that. Just a slight sweetness, but not something that's just ruining the cigar for you or making it so that you can't taste anything else. Although I smelled a little bit of a fruity scent before lighting it, I really didn't smell any fruit or taste any of a fruity taste after lighting. And like I said before, the construction on this is just great. It's just so easy. Someone that's new to cigars would enjoy this. You can smoke it pretty quickly without it overheating, and also I was able to sit it down and let it rest a little bit without it trying to go out. So overall, just really great, easy, very enjoyable cigar to smoke. I obviously smoked it down a little too far for you to be able to see an accurate, image of what the filler looks like, but it's definitely a long filler there. So I'd love to know what your favorites are from CAO or just general recommendations, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye. Hey guys, so today I've got this CLE, I'm going to butcher this, Azabachi. Anyway, it supposedly translates to jet black according to their website, which it does have a pretty dark Mexican San Andres wrapper. It's got a Honduran binder, Honduran, Nicaraguan, and Peruvian filler, hand-rolled in Honduras. The CLE is for Christian Louis Irois. Gorgeous to look at. I love this kind of like super shiny band. It's got this like tissue wrapped on it. This is a 6x40. Beautiful to look at underneath. Triple capped, box breast. I love this little short length here. And it just smells so good. Like it's got like a little bit of that kind of dark chocolate, coffee, mocha kind of scent. A little bit sweet, raisiny, earthy, very rich. It feels slightly oily, very smooth. Really looking forward to getting into this one. So I'm going to light it up outside and I'll give you my thoughts.
So I used a punch on this and it cut really nice and sharp. Nice medium draw, good smoke production. And it starts up toasty and peppery. There's a roasted, like, specifically walnut flavor here mixed with some black coffee. It definitely has that campfire, woody, toasted kind of flavor and scent to it. Really nice to start. Burning nice and cool, pretty evenly. And the pepper is kicking up slightly, about an inch in, but not like at the back of my throat like normal. This is more like a spice on my lips, almost kind of tingly. About halfway through, there's a nice creaminess that develops here. There's a little bit of a milk chocolate flavor that mixes really nice with like a fruity tang as well. Such a nice combination, nicely balanced. The ash is holding super strong. I mean, I had about 2 inches or more of ash and had to knock it off for fear that it was going to fall on my leg and burn me again. Anyway, yeah, nice construction, no flaking at all. Great smoke production all throughout. And then later on, that last portion, there's kind of a creamy, sweet peanut butter quality to it, but combined with the toasty, smoky, wood, leather, peppery, black coffee, some of those deeper flavors in there, but it still has that kind of sweet, smooth, peanut buttery quality. Really nice. Burned perfectly all the way through. Like I said, no issues there. I really enjoyed this. As I said, the construction is just top notch here. Great combo of flavors, and I'm definitely looking forward to more from this line based on just the build quality of this. I'd say medium to full-bodied with a medium strength on this, and it's smoked for about an hour and 15 minutes. Definitely something I'd smoke again, and like I said, I'm looking forward to trying some more from this line. Thanks for watching, guys. I'd love to hear your favorite from that brand or your thoughts on that cigar specifically. I'm so tongue-tied. And I'll catch you guys next time. So today I've got this Davidoff Escurio Robusto. It's a 4.5 by 54. These go for like between 15 and 16 bucks. Escurio is a combination of Escuro, which means dark, and Rio, which is the city that this cigar was inspired by, the nightlife in Rio, Brazil. It's supposed to be spicy and sweet and really full of flavor. It has an Ecuadorian Havana seed wrapper with a mix of Brazilian and Dominican filler and Brazilian binder. There's really not a ton of scent to it. It smells a little bit on the sweet side, a little bit of that, kind of raisiny tobacco type quality. There's a little bit of like a sweet bread flavor to it. So I'm going to light this up outside. I will cut open what's left at the end so that you can see the filler and obviously give you my thoughts throughout.
So as you can see, per usual, I'm using the punch here. It's just my preferred method for sure. And it starts up with a huge smoke volume right from the start, which I personally prefer and find it very satisfying. And then it just starts up with this beautiful citrusy, tangy kind of vibe in there, mixed with this sweet, really rich, full mocha, kind of a chocolate, coffee, just delicious flavor. Really nice combination with some of this like peppery spice that's coming in and out. Really satisfying to smoke. Nice draw on this, not too much resistance but a little pull there. And then the second third, the pepper kicks up a little bit, probably about midway through, and it has more of this kind of a fresh taste to it. Not necessarily minty, but a little bit like a ginger type of a flavor, as well as this really velvety, rich, earthy kind of vibe too. But there's also some sweet, creamy coffee here, absolutely smooth, and just such a nice balance of flavors. So many different flavors coming through with each puff. And then the last third still has a bit of that zingy, citrusy flavor coming through, but now there's more of kind of a roasty, toasty, cedar type flavor, a little bit of that campfire vibe, as well as a kind of like a nutty, like a roasted nut type of a flavor. I can't put my finger on what nut exactly, but just that kind of roasty, creamy, smooth nut flavor. And this smoked for right about an hour with a nice burn on it, nice construction, great smoke volume all the way through. I didn't have any problems with it going out, and it stayed lit for a long time. Very satisfying to smoke, and some really unique flavors coming through with those kind of citrusy and ginger notes, mixed with that spicy quality, and then also sweet and smooth with those chocolatey flavors. Just a really nice balance. I'd say that this was medium strength. I didn't get too much of a kick off of it, and medium bodied, medium to full bodied, I guess. Really enjoyed this one, definitely worth a try, and I'll smoke one again for sure.
So thanks for watching. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that cigar, or if you have a favorite from Davidoff, and I'll catch you guys next time. Hey there, so today I've got this Davidoff Yamasa. This is the Robusto size, so it's a 5 by 50. These go for right under 20 bucks. I think the company spent something like 20 years developing the land in this Yamasa region so that they would be able to grow the tobacco there, and it's supposed to have a really unique flavor. It's got a mix of Dominican and Nicaraguan filler, and it smells really nice. It's got this rich, like a fresh cedar, like it has a little punch of a freshness to it. Fresh cedar, a little bit of a sweet, kind of a sweet roasted nut quality. The wrapper feels really velvety and smooth. They're handmade in the Dominican. So I'm going to light this up outside. I will cut open what's left at the end so that you can see what the filler looks like, and I'll give you my thoughts throughout.
So this lit up really quickly. I used a punch on it, really nice draw, great smoke production right from the start. And it starts up with this really rich, earthy, velvety flavor that kind of starts coating your mouth. Nice gingerbread, cinnamon kind of spice profile. Slowly builds with each puff. It's just getting a stronger flavor. Nice and smooth, creamy yet flavorful right from the start. There's a roasted nut flavor here mixed with a nice black coffee. There's also a little bit of a sweet raisin bread kind of vibe. Really, really tasty combo. And then the second third moves into a little bit stronger flavor with the coffee here. There's still that rich earthiness, but the coffee just comes to the front a little bit. There's a fresh ginger type of flavor here mixed with a little bit of a tart citrusy, kind of like a kiwi type zing. Very unique, fresh vibe to it. Although there's still that smooth creaminess. There's just really different layers of flavor coming through here. Very nice combination of sweet, spice, smooth, and tart, and just evolving throughout. It's burning really nicely. The ash is holding well without flaking, although not super strong ash. You're getting about an inch or inch and a half maybe. Excellent smoke production though, very, very satisfying. And the last third finishes out with a toasty cedar flavor. There's a dark, that kind of deep, bitter chocolate flavor, more roasted nuts here. A little bit of a black pepper spice, although there's still some of that cinnamon spice there too. This smoked for about an hour and 15 minutes. I'd say medium to full-bodied. It's very flavorful and at least a medium strength. I definitely got a buzz off of this. My only complaint would be that the burn line just wasn't beautiful to look at. It performed well as far as I didn't have to touch it up, didn't have any problems with the burn, but just for that price I would have expected a razor sharp beautiful line. But again, it didn't affect the performance. Very tasty, very satisfying smoke production, and something I definitely smoke again.
So thanks for watching. I'd love to know if you've had one of those or what your favorite is from Davidoff, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye now. Hey guys, so I've got the Drew Estate Java Mint for you today. This is the Robusto size, so it's 5.5 inches long with a 50 for the ring gauge. I'm so excited to smoke this. This is going to be my first time, and I love chocolatey minty things. Like I really like chocolate mint ice cream, minty things in general. So this is actually the first cigar I'm smoking with a mint type of flavor infused kind of thing. This is Nicaraguan long filler. They're handmade with a Brazilian Maduro wrapper. They have aged it and infused it slowly with, kind of a vanilla, coffee, mocha, a little bit of a chocolatey kind of thing, and the mint flavor, obviously. So I'm super excited to get into this thing. As soon as I took it out of the cello wrapper, it smells so good. I mean, it smells a good mix of coffee and chocolate, and then there's that mint flavor for sure. Definitely like maybe a York peppermint patty kind of vibe going on. Really nice. It does smell sweet. It has that little bit of a raisiny quality to it as well. So I'm going to smoke this outside, and then I'll cut what's left at the end to show you what the inside looks like and give you my thoughts. So I used a punch on this because of the shape of it, and that worked absolutely perfectly. Just the right amount of an easy draw, tons of smoke, absolutely beautiful stick. The construction on this is really nice. The wrapper itself seems relatively thick, almost oily, very fresh seeming. It's the cigar itself feels a bit firm. It feels kind of tight, but the draw is not. And it stayed perfectly together the entire time through smoking. But it is a sweetened wrapper, and just upon the first puff, I mean, you instantly taste that coffee, chocolate, mint. It's absolutely the perfect level or the perfect strength of flavor. Like, you really taste it, you really know what flavor this is. Even if someone didn't tell you, you would right off the cuff, you would know. but it's not like in some kind of a candied type of way or like overly sweet or anything, but it has this lovely combination of a coffee, vanilla, chocolate, and definitely that mint rings through. It actually made my mouth feel fresh, like as if you had eaten, I don't know, a York peppermint patty or something like that, and it leaves that kind of fresh feeling in your mouth, not only the taste, but like that tingly freshness. And I loved it. I mean, all the way through, probably until maybe the very end, like the end of the last third. My mouth felt super fresh, not really much of a tobacco type aftertaste. It was really just that mint. And then probably that last part of the third, I started getting a little bit of a tobacco-y aftertaste, but nothing too heavy or strong. So I really love that about this one. It's a good one to smoke if you're, not wanting your breath to smell bad, or you're going to be around people that don't enjoy cigar smoke, because the smoke on this smells of coffee and mint and chocolate as well. So the taste is there, the scent on the smoke is there. It's just really the perfect strength of flavor in a beautifully constructed stick. This exceeded my expectations for sure. Definitely a new favorite, definitely something to keep in the rotation. Great for new cigar smokers or people that want to just try something different. The smoke on this was super white and just thick and gorgeous. Held the ash for a really long time, which was also notably white. You can see here how nicely constructed it is. I mean, I'm just truly unraveling. It's one of the longest, truly long filler cigars that I've seen. So obviously I loved it. So as always, I'd love to know if you smoked one of those or something else from the line, or just a general recommendation, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye now. Hey, so today I've got the newest from EP Carrillo. This is from the Inch line. It's called the Ringmaster. It's this beautiful, really thick gauge. It's actually 1 inch in diameter or 64 for a ring gauge. It smells fantastic. All Nicaraguan tobacco. Smells really rich, kind of sweet and fruity, earthy. I actually haven't had any others from the Inch line, so I'm looking forward to trying this. It is 5 3/8 long, and like I said, 1 inch in diameter, so it's going to smoke for a little bit. I'm going to light this up outside. I will cut open what's left at the end so that you can see what the filler looks like, and I'll give you my thoughts throughout.
So I went for a straight cut on this due to the size, but it lit up super quickly and had just an effortless draw. I mean, almost no resistance, and lots of smoke right from the start. I forgot to say, I think these go for about $12. The smoke really had this like nice cedary Christmas tree kind of a scent to it, and the first third starts up super creamy. There's a bit of like a sweetened coffee kind of a flavor, like not like a bitter dark coffee, but like a lighter roast, slightly like a toasted nutty kind of a flavor, and lots of earthy hay. Like I said, just an incredible amount of smoke on this. I mean, probably the most smoke output I've ever had in a cigar to date. But also this effortless draw. Definitely burning a little bit quicker than I anticipated in that first third, but it's not overheating. Then the second third continues with that rich creaminess, but now it has a hint of pepper. But the pepper's really backstage, like it's just little hints here and there. Beautifully light and smooth. This stick is so much lighter in body than I expected. There's like a cinnamon sugar, kind of like a sweetened cinnamon sugar type flavor coming through. Nice even burn line and a solid ash throughout. And then the last third, the pepper definitely kicks it up a notch, and the flavor changes a lot here. There's more of a toasty cedar wood kind of a flavor, and just some deeper flavors, a little bit more of like a bitter black coffee kind of thing. Still a little bit creamy, but towards the end it started getting a little bit charred and was trying to go out on me, even though I was continuing to smoke it. But that was really the last probably 2 inches. Overall, a very, very tasty stick. Loved the light smoothness. Something that would be really great for the morning time, or just when you don't want something too heavy, or fantastic with coffee. Just amazingly easy draw, great smoke output, really a pleasure to smoke, something I would definitely smoke again. But I can't say that there were a lot of changes in flavor. That last third really changed a lot, but the first 2/3 were really a lot of the same. Delicious, but not a lot of nuanced flavors. Very enjoyable nonetheless. This smoked for about an hour and 50 minutes, just under 2 hours, and I would say probably medium bodied really at most, and a medium strength on this. I started getting a little bit of a nicotine kick towards the end, but nothing too strong.
Thanks for watching. As always, I'd love your feedback on your favorite from EP Carrillo, or just a cigar that I should try, and I'll catch you guys next time. Hey there, so today I've got this Irwa, the first 20 years Colorado. It's box pressed, it's a 5x50. This is all Honduran tobacco with the Carollo wrapper, and it's got a really mild scent to it. I mean, it's a little bit sweet, a little bit cedary, obviously. Let's take this little tissue off. It smells fantastic. It's got this really sweet, kind of fruity, cocoa, cinnamon kind of vibe to it. Definitely looking forward to lighting this up. It's got really pretty bands on it as well.
So I used a punch on this, as you can see, which worked beautifully. It has this perfect medium draw, a little bit of resistance, but not too tight. Really nice smoke volume right from the start as well, which I always love. And it starts up with a little cinnamon spice kind of vibe mixed with this really great real cherry flavor, like not an artificial flavor, but just like a nice cherry. That there's also a buttery graham cracker, slightly sweet kind of a flavor to it. Absolutely delicious combo. Smoking beautifully even at the end of the first third, ashes holding impressively. And in the second third, the spice kicks up a bit here. There's a toasty wood element, still has that beautiful, it's kind of like a sweet buttercream frosting, like really buttery and smooth. Definitely some sweetness there mixed with a nice cinnamon gingerbread spice kind of profile. Very holiday inspired flavors here. I'm just loving those flavors together. It's just such a nice combo of a little bit of spice, little bit of richness, and that sweet flavor. Still burning nice and even despite the windy conditions there, so that's great. And then the last third develops a nice creamy coffee espresso type of flavor. Still maintains that cinnamon, gingerbread, kind of toasty sweet flavors to it. So it's kind of like a pumpkin spice latte kind of a thing, which doesn't get more holiday inspired than that. So perfect for this cold, mountainy weather. There's also a little bit of leather and kind of a campfire wood sort of vibe, a little bit toasty towards the end. Absolutely delicious flavors. Loved the changes, loved each third. And I'd say that this was medium to full bodied with a mellow to medium strength, not very strong. Smoked for about an hour with a great construction, nice burn all the way throughout, no touch-ups or anything. Absolutely lovely flavors, as I've said. I could definitely see myself picking up some more of these. So thanks for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this cigar, or if you have a favorite from the line that I should try if I haven't already. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye now.
Hey guys, I've got an Excalibur today from the Hoya de Monterrey line. I'm probably butchering that, but this is the Robusto size. It's a 5.2 inch length with a 50 for the ring. It has a Connecticut wrapper and a blend of Nicaraguan, Honduran, and Dominican filler, and they said they only use like the top 10% from factory or whatever, so it's supposed to be pretty nice. It's very highly rated, so I'm going to smoke it outside and then I'll cut the rest, cut what's left at the end open to show you what the filler looks like, and give you my thoughts. I forgot to say before lighting this, it had a really nice kind of a sweeter smell, that raisiny tobacco kind of scent, a little bit of like a boozy quality to it, and it feels pretty firm. You can tell that this is pretty tightly wrapped, and it has a definite medium draw. It's not a super easy draw, but I wasn't having to work too hard. It's definitely not the most tightly rolled cigar ever. I do not enjoy a super tight roll. So this was okay, but it was definitely on the medium side. And it has a really, really light taste. Not a ton of flavor coming out from this, not a big aftertaste in my mouth. Pretty much start to finish. I don't think the flavor changed too much throughout smoking this, so it was just kind of a creamy, very, very light flavor, and it wasn't really bitter at all. I think maybe half the way in I started getting a little bit of that kind of tobacco, a slight bitter aftertaste, but still really nice. The scent on this cigar after lighting it it's kind of unique. It has like a buttery quality to it, almost maybe like a very lightly sweetened, like a graham cracker or a pie crust or something like that. I mean, not super sweet smelling, but it has that kind of biscuity, buttery scent to it, which I really enjoyed for sure. The smoke is not very strong smelling. It didn't leave a strong scent on my hands or a strong taste in my mouth, which is really nice. Across the board, very mild. I don't think the tobacco is super strong on this, nor was the flavor. I had a slight issue with keeping this lit. Like if I didn't continue to smoke it maybe a little bit faster than I normally would, it would start to try to go out. So not a big problem, but not one that you're going to sit on the table for any length of time. Maybe because this one's a little bit tighter and the air doesn't get through as much. And also the draw did not get easier throughout smoking, which is a little bit unusual. Usually if it's tighter at the beginning, it'll get easier, but I didn't really find that with this one. So it wasn't quite as satisfying. It didn't produce quite as much smoke as I would have liked. It did burn evenly and it held an ash for a long time. So definitely pros and cons to this one. I really would still smoke this again for sure, but I think as far as super mild cigars go, I've had some that I liked a little bit more, but this isn't bad, and it definitely goes to your personal taste as far as the construction on a cigar. I really enjoyed that easier draw on something, but that may not be everyone's cup of tea, and if you don't mind more of a medium draw, then you would love this because it has a very mild, very enjoyable, not a strong aftertaste. Great for, when it's hot outside and you just want to smoke something that's really light. You would definitely enjoy this for sure. You can see here I'm about to cut it open, and it's definitely a long filler. You can see that it's wrapped nicely. These are hand rolled in Honduras, and overall pretty decent cigars. So as always, I'd love your thoughts on that cigar, or if you like something else from that line, or just recommendations in general, and I'll catch you next time. Bye guys. Hey guys, I've got a La Aurora 107 today. These were made in celebration of them making cigars for 107 years or something to that effect. This is the Toro size, so it's a 5.5 inch length with a 54 for the gauge. This is a Dominican and Nicaraguan filler with an Ecuadorian sun-grown wrapper. It's supposed to have notes of cedar and a little bit of a spiciness with a sweetness to it as well. And it smells definitely that kind of raisiny tobacco scent that's more of on the sweeter end. And it smells fantastic. I am so excited to get into that. I can definitely get a little bit of a spiciness, not necessarily a pepper spice, but like kind of a holiday spice kind of a scent to it. So I'm going to light this up outside, give you my thoughts, and then I will cut open what's left at the end so that you can see the filler inside. So as I have been with almost all cigars lately, I'm using the punch on this one, and it worked great. Nice, easy draw, and it made a ton of smoke on this, so that was really nice. I love a cigar that's easy to draw on and produces a whole lot of smoke. It just makes it a lot more enjoyable to me. But it smells like earthy, like a little bit like some fresh dirt, but in a nice way, not in a bad way. And there's definitely some like woodsy, maybe a cedar type of scent to it, kind of nutty, and then there's that peppery spiciness, and you can definitely taste that pretty predominantly in the beginning. It gives that spicy kick in your mouth. I would say about a third to half of the way through that starts leveling off a little bit. It continued through, but it definitely was stronger at the beginning. This has a fairly strong tobacco flavor to it, like it's at least a medium strength for me, but it's not bitter at all, and that was true throughout smoking this all the way through. There was no bitterness, which is kind of unique for me. In general, the stronger the tobacco flavor, there's just a hint of bitterness, which isn't always a terrible thing, but there really wasn't any bitterness to this, and that was really enjoyable. And I feel like smoking further in, I was getting kind of a leathery scent to it, which was really nice too. Overall, it just smells really like a nice, strong, woodsy, earthy cigar. And it definitely had somewhat of a sweet flavor to it. Not in the way that, you know, a flavor-infused cigar or a sweetened cigar does, but it just had that hint of kind of creamy, light sweetness that was left in your mouth, which was really nice, and then added with that kind of peppery spiciness. It was just kind of a nice mix. It smoked nice and evenly, held the ash for a long time, and like I said, it really did make a lot of smoke, which I loved. Didn't have any problems keeping this one lit either, and I set it down a few times and let it cool down. You know, and it just wasn't one that you have to babysit, which is always nice. And the construction on this looks really nice, as you'll see in a second here. It's definitely a long filler. And the tobacco did have a little bit of a kick. Like, this gave me a little bit of a buzz, but I'm more used to smoking more on the mild end, so I guess that's not super surprising, but generally very enjoyable cigar. So as always, I'd love to know your thoughts on one of those, or if you like something else from the line, or just general recommendations, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye now. Hey guys, so I've got this La Aurora Cameroon Robusto. This is a 5x50. These go for like $6 to $7. It's got a Cameroon wrapper with Nicaraguan binder and Dominican and Nicaraguan filler. It smells really, really nice. It has a nice firm feel to it. I don't really feel any soft spots. It's got a pretty kind of milk chocolatey sort of wrapper color. And it has like a earth, cinnamon, raisiny kind of quality. Kind of a hay or grass-like scent. A little bit of sweet kind of molasses in there. To smoke this outside, I will cut open what's left at the end so that you can see the filler, and I'll give you my thoughts throughout.
So I used a punch on this, and it has like a good medium draw, a little bit of resistance there, but a really nice amount of smoke. And the cold draw has a taste of sweet earth. There's a little bit of a sour kick there, and then kind of a cinnamon spicy kind of flavor as well. And then after lighting, it starts up with some earth, that cinnamon spice kind of profile, kind of like you would get with a gingerbread. And then about an inch in, the pepper really settles in on my tongue and starts kicking. Not too strong, not unenjoyably so, but it's very noticeable. And then the second third, the pepper has really moved to the back of my throat now. It's got some toasty cedar kind of flavors, a little bit of depth here. More of that gingerbread spice, cinnamon, kind of warm, kind of like you would get with like an apple pie kind of spice profile there. And then there's a bit of a nice sweetness here. I really think it could be like a little bit of an apple pie kind of a flavor. You're getting those cinnamon, kind of a sugary sweetness, and then there's a little bit of a kind of fresh tart flavor here, kind of like a green apple or something. There's a bit of hay, kind of a grassy earth kind of vibe going on as well. And it's burning really nice here at the end of the second third. Very even, no flaking, just very nice quality, easy to smoke construction so far. Lots of smoke. And then in the last third, the sweetness really disappears here, and you're left with kind of a sour, not like the green apple from before because it doesn't have that sweetness, but it's more of a citrusy flavor here. And then there's also a bit of a yeasty bread kind of a flavor, like if you've ever made homemade bread, that kind of yeasty flavor. A little bit kind of like a beer, I guess, as well. And then it also has like a toasty wood. It's definitely kind of a deeper flavor profile here, slightly on the bitter side, not anything too harsh. But that's definitely there. It burned really beautifully all the way through. I mean, that was something that was just very enjoyable about this cigar. absolutely maintenance free, and that's just very satisfying for me. It's really important, and I really look for, a nice even burn line, no flaking, the ash holding on really well, and all those things were here. Overall, like I said, very enjoyable smoking experience, relaxing, nice price point on this. I'd say that there was a hint of strength there, maybe kind of a light to medium strength, and medium bodied for me. It smoked about an hour and 20 minutes. So overall, something I definitely smoke again and recommend if you're looking for a Cameroon. And I'm looking forward to trying the other wrappers in this line as well.
Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts on that one if you've had one or another favorite from La Aurora. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye now. Hey guys, so I've got a La Aurora Dominican DNA for you today. It says ADN Dominicano. I'm assuming that's in Spanish. So this is the Toro size, so it's a 5 3/4 length with a 54 for the gauge. This has a Dominican wrapper and Dominican, Nicaraguan, Pennsylvanian, and Andulo tobacco filler. And the whole spirit behind this cigar is the Andulo tobacco. So that is tobacco that is cured in these cylindrical, they're wrapped up in these leaves, super tight and tied up, and aged that way versus being hang dry. And apparently in the Dominican, this is a very traditional process for hundreds of years to use this Andulo tobacco, and then now almost no one uses it, or I don't think I've smoked a cigar with Andulo tobacco in it before. So La Aurora decided to, kind of pay homage or tribute to the traditional way of doing things in the Dominican and come out with this cigar, and I think that's why it's DNA. So I'm excited to get into this. I haven't tried anything, like I said, with the Andulo tobacco, and it should be something unique. I'm going to smoke this outside, and then I'll cut open what's left at the end so that you can see what the filler looks like, and obviously give you my thoughts to that.
So before lighting, the scent on this is sweet and spicy and changes to more of like a toasted leather and sort of oak type scent, and the after lighting, and then the taste is mostly of pepper. It's a pretty strong pepper flavor and a very full flavored cigar in general. The pepper, it left that kind of heat that's in your mouth, like a little bit like you've been eating some spicy food. It started out on my tongue, and the further in on the cigar I got, it was more towards the back of my mouth and a little bit in the roof. The scent changed a little bit about halfway through and started smelling a little bit more creamy, almost like a milky flavor, possibly like a little bit of a milk chocolate type thing. You could still smell that oak sort of scent, and the leather stayed there as well. And you could definitely still smell that kind of spicy, peppery scent to it. And the flavor stays pretty consistently peppery all throughout. Like I said, it kind of gains intensity a little bit and settles in more at the back of your mouth, but it starts leaving a creamy feeling about halfway through that lingers around under your tongue. The stick itself feels pretty weighty and solid. It feels pretty tight. There are a few veins on the wrapper, and like I said, I feel like the punch worked really well, and it smoked cleanly. It smoked pretty even all throughout, but you have to keep puffing on this one. If you were to set it down, it would just cool off too much and it started trying to go out. So keep on puffing on this one and you shouldn't have any problems. The wrapper seems noticeably thick on this. Like it seemed to burn. The ash seemed like a little bit of a step down and a slightly separate seeming from the actual stick, whereas normally, it's more of a continuous type of burn. So it seemed like the wrapper was thicker, and it also felt like it was a thick wrapper on this as well. This interestingly has sort of a charred flavor that really is pretty predominant. There was a bit of a bitterness to it. I'm not sure if that's to do with the Andulo tobacco, which I'm probably totally butchering that word. But because the cigar didn't burn very hot, it was kind of interesting that it had that flavor. This is definitely a unique cigar for me. I haven't smoked anything else similar to this. I feel like you can see that Andulo tobacco leaf here in a second, that one at the bottom right. It looks different, almost like more dehydrated, like it would possibly be thinner maybe from the pressing. So all around, a pretty interesting concept and unique flavor on this cigar.
So I'm always interested to know if you guys have smoked one of these or something similar or something that I should try, or in general what you think about the Andulo tobacco if you've smoked anything with that in it. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye. I've got this My Father the Judge. This is a Gran Robusto. It's a 5x60. It's got an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper with Nicaraguan binder and filler. These go for like 12 to 13 bucks, something around there. It smells really, really nice. It's kind of this short, stubby, box press, kind of a unique shape. And it's got a real kind of sweet and spicy mix going on, but also kind of a musty, earthy, like a rich earth kind of dirt smell, which doesn't sound overly appealing, but it is really nice. So I'm going to light this up outside. I'll cut open what's left at the end so that you can see the filler, and I'll give you my thoughts throughout.
So I went for a straight cut on this, and the cold draw definitely has that kind of sweet and spicy thing going on again. Definitely earthy. Just kind of a richer, little bit creamy, and then definitely hits you with a little bit of spice as well. After lighting, starts out with a really strong red pepper spice. I mean, right off the bat, kicks straight to the back of my throat. Really almost making me cough. I don't know that I've experienced this level of spice directly from the start on a stick before. But it levels out a little bit, a little ways in, and you can taste some rich dark chocolate that comes through. A really nice kind of a toasty, nutty, almost like a peanut buttery kind of a flavor, a little bit richer than just toasted nuts, a little bit creamier. And then the second third has this citrusy vibe that comes into play, a little bit zesty and kind of tart, but there's also a fresh flavor here, kind of like a ginger or something similar to that. There's definitely a coffee flavor here, a little bit of cream, and still kind of that tangy kind of flavor like a yogurt. It has a strong spice here, but not quite as strong as the beginning. A little bit of a toasty oak sort of flavor, some leather, getting a little bit deeper in flavor here. It has a nice draw throughout, good smoke output. It's pretty slow burning at this point. It's probably, close to 2 hours leading into the last third. And then the last third was really where I would just say this kind of fell down for me a little bit. It just really develops this overriding charred flavor in the last third. I mean, the spice kicks up a little bit more. You can taste that. There's definitely some kind of black coffee flavor here, a little bit of leather. But the overriding flavor is just this kind of charred, ashy taste. And I don't know. I know this is a really well-loved cigar. I know this isn't going to be a popular opinion, but I just didn't love it. The first two-thirds had some really tasty, attractive flavor combinations. If it had continued on that route, I would have loved it, but that last third was not very tasty. The burn all throughout wasn't impressive. Kind of ugly burn line, flaky ash. It smoked for about 2.5 hours, full body and strength. Overall, not horrible, just not something I'd get again for the price.
Watching. I'd like to hear what your favorite is from My Father, and I'll catch you guys next time. Hey guys, so I've got this Nestor Miranda Corojo today. This is all Nicaraguan tobacco, and it's got a Nicaraguan Corojo wrapper, hence the name. This smells a lot like, I really get like a peanut kind of a vibe to it, like kind of like a creamy, I guess like peanut butter. Definitely some cedar in there. A little bit floral, like kind of fresh and light smelling. So I'm really looking forward to getting into this. I'm going to smoke this outside. I will cut open what's left at the end so that you can see the filler and give you my thoughts throughout. I used a punch on this, which worked really well. There's a nice draw to this, plenty of smoke, very similar to the Habana version of this cigar. It starts out slightly citrusy with a little bit of like an acidity, like a sourness to it. Mixed with a hint of floral, which kind of comes together and makes this sort of like a grapefruit type of a flavor to me, combined with some wood and cinnamon for sure. It's a really unique flavor. I haven't specifically experienced that citrus and floral mixed together before, and I thought that was pretty cool. About an inch in, the pepper starts up and starts hanging onto the tongue, but it's not too strong then, but it does kind of settle in there. The smoke smells like cedar mixed with holiday spices, and it still has a slightly kind of that floral, grapefruity type of a smell. Halfway through, it's getting more flavors of wood and earth, a little bit less sweet, a little bit more of those deeper flavors, and the pepper is continuing through. Still not overpowering at this point. It's still not lighting up my mouth or anything, but it's there and it's a nice flavor. The smoke still smells like cedar and has that fresh floral vibe to it, as well as the spices. The smoke, just kind of evolved slightly, but had some of those same notes to it. And it's still giving that citrusy aftertaste now and then. Like you can taste like a little bit of a sourness in your mouth. The burn line on this was pretty even. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't anything that I had to touch up at all. It burned really well. There was no issues with it overheating, or if I set it down, it didn't try to go out on me or anything like that. Towards the end, the pepper definitely gets more powerful, and there's a little bit of kind of like a bitterness in the way of like a black coffee, like that acidity towards the end to this, which isn't my favorite flavor, but it wasn't anything too intense, mixed with that sour citrusy kind of taste. So it kind of finished out, for my taste, slightly harsh. I still really enjoyed it, but the finish there was a little bit stronger than I would have liked. But like I said, the construction on this was great. I love how much smoke it produces. I really like the length of this cigar. It smokes for a really nice amount of time. It's not one that you're stuck smoking for an hour and a half, but it's a good stick, especially for the afternoon kind of a thing. So overall, nice, unique stick with some different flavors to offer. That nice grapefruit, florally citrus kind of thing mixed with the cinnamon, a little bit of black coffee flavor in there. Really nice combination. I enjoyed the Habano as well. I've done a video on that one if you haven't seen it. I have 2 others that I'm going to try as well, so check back in if you're interested in my thoughts on those.
As always, I'd love to know if you smoked one of those or something else from the line that you like, and I'll catch you guys next time. Hey guys, I've got this Elite Connecticut Reserve today. This is the Toro size, so it's a 6x50. It's got this really beautiful Ecuadorian grown Connecticut wrapper with a Nicaraguan binder and filler. The wrapper is like just really velvety and smooth. It smells nice. It's got that kind of raisiny, sweet, cedary kind of tobacco scent. Feels pretty firm, no soft spots or anything. I think these go for like $7 to $8. And I'm going to light this up outside. I will cut up what's left at the end so that you can see the filler, and I'll give you my thoughts throughout.
So I did a little punch on this, and it has a nice draw to it. The cold draw has a raisin, fresh earth flavor with a little bit of wood. Lights up super easily and starts out with a creamy taste, a little bit of a peppery spice mixed with some wood. There's definitely a little bit of coffee flavor here. Very smooth, nice, easy draw to this, good smoke production. And then the second third has this really great velvety mouthfeel. Just burns nice and even, no issues there. Ash holding on really well, no flaking. There's a bit more of that wood, toasty flavor with a kick of peppery spice. And then mixed in with that just beautiful, creamy, smooth, lovely mouthfeel. Just very easy, enjoyable smoke. Nothing too strong here, but enough flavor to keep you interested. And then the last third has a bit of leather and earth here. More of that toasty oak wood flavor, and some coffee. It's definitely less creamy in this last third, and a bit fuller in body. Very nice construction all throughout with this. Nice burn, pretty even burn line, nice ash. I don't love this in this size. I think it's a little bit too big for my taste. Smoked a little bit too long. I prefer this I've had it in the Robusto, and then they also sell it in like a Corona or something that's a lot smaller. And I liked those because I just don't think that the flavors change enough to warrant this smoked for about an hour and 15 minutes. So really nice. I mean, if you're busy, if you're doing something in conversation, you don't want to give too much thought to the cigar, this isn't bad at all, but I definitely prefer the smaller size, in my opinion. I think it's great for a morning smoke, or sometime when you don't want something too heavy, or like I said, when you're busy and you just want something reliable. Nice, smooth, rich and creamy, little bit of zing of that pepper here and there, a little bit of toasty wood flavor. I'd say medium bodied at most, and not a strong kick on as far as strength. Definitely something I'd smoke again. I would just prefer a little bit shorter smoke time and definitely something I'd keep on hand though.
Thanks for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one or another favorite from Oliva, and I'll catch you guys next time. Hey guys, I've got a Grey Cliff G2 for you today. It has an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper with a mix of Dominican and Nicaraguan long filler. This is my first time smoking this one. It just smells kind of clean, almost herbally. There's a slight hint of almost like the acid Cuba Cubas, how it has that kind of like green tea type of scent to it, but not a sweetness. It has a little bit of raisiny scent to it as well. So I'm going to light this up outside, and then I'll cut open what's left at the end to show you what the filler looks like inside and give you my thoughts. So I used a punch on this, and I went super shallow with it, but the draw was almost, I mean, if it's possible, I like an easy draw, but this is almost a little too easy for my taste. That's super nitpicky, but it was unique to this. I've never experienced a draw quite that easy. Still a decent amount of smoke. It feels not very dense, like the cigar itself feels pretty light comparably, and there's not a ton of flavor on this. It is super mellow. After I lit this though, it smells exactly like a saltine cracker. I would love to know if any of you have smoked one of these and if you notice that, because I have never smelled a cigar that smelled exactly like this. Like, it's not necessarily like a buttery, ritzy kind of cracker. It smells just like a saltine. Like, it's crazy. Not like toast, but specifically a saltine cracker. So that was kind of funny, which I love saltine, so that's fine with me. The flavor did not change throughout smoking this. It just stayed very mellow. Really no aftertaste. Not a lot of taste in general. Just a very, very light stick. There's nothing I didn't like about this aside from that it almost didn't feel like you could feel any draw at all, which was kind of different. Really not a lot of downsides, just not anything super remarkable that would make me crave this cigar. You can see that it's constructed pretty nicely. It's definitely a long filler there. Not a bad stick at all, just not one that really stood out to me. As always, I'd love to know if you smoked one of those or something else from the brand or just general recommendations, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye now. Hey guys, so this is the Drew Estates Tabac Especial Cafe con Leche, and this is like the limited special edition where it has the mixed wrapper with the Maduro and the Connecticut. This is the Bellicoso size, so it's a 5.5 inch length with a 54 for the gauge. It has a Nicaraguan long filler. It should be really nice. It's infused with Nicaraguan coffee beans, and it smells fantastic. Nice and sweet with kind of that boozy quality, a little bit like milky or kind of chocolatey. Yeah, it smells fantastic. So I'm going to smoke this outside, and I will cut open what's left at the end so that you can see the filler and then give you my thoughts throughout. So I like the tapered shape of this stick since the gauge is so large. It's nice to have that. It makes it a little bit easier. The draw on this is a good medium kind of draw. You can feel a little bit of a pull on it, but it still has tons of smoke, so I like that a lot. It smells, after lighting, a lot like kind of that toasty, sugary, chocolate, coffee kind of scent, like a sweetened creamy coffee. It smells obviously really nice, sounds amazing, smells just as good as it sounds. The thing that got me on this a little bit is the sweetened tip. This is probably the sweetest tip on a cigar that I've ever had. I mean, I like sweet things, but this was like borderline too sweet, a little bit taking away from the flavor. It's a nice flavored cigar, but for the first at least a third of this stick, it's hard to notice anything except for that kind of artificial sweetener type flavor. This almost tastes like kind of like a Splenda or something like that. But if you look beyond that, this is a really nice cigar. As far as the flavor, is a beautiful coffee, sweetened coffee with cream kind of a taste. There's a little bit of a chocolatiness there. It's definitely a little bit richer and deeper when you're in that Maduro section, and then when it moves into the Connecticut, it gets more of that milky kind of milk chocolate type flavor, and it's super smooth. There's absolutely no bitterness to this. I love the flavor of this, especially once you get,
a third or a halfway in and you wear down that sweetened tip a little bit. It really is super nice. The smell is beautiful. It tastes just very rich and creamy and sweet. You know, that combination of coffee and tobacco is just right up there for me. You really can't go wrong with that. The flavor stayed pretty consistent for me once you moved into that Connecticut shade. It really stayed the same throughout the rest of the cigar, just very mild and enjoyable, easy to smoke. It's one of those thicker, it feels pretty firm sticks, pretty weighty as well. It burned very evenly. I didn't have any issues with it trying to go out. Construction was really nice on this. So I've got conflicting thoughts on this one. I love the idea of this cigar. I really, really loved it once I got, you know, a third or half the way in. I wish we could just remove a little bit of that sweet taste at the beginning, you know, just take it down a notch and it would be absolutely perfect. So if you're somebody that loves the sweetness or you're looking for something super sweet, you would totally love this. If that's not your thing, I don't know how much you would like this, but I mean, like I said, other than the sweetness, it is great.
As always, I'd love to know if you've smoked one of those or if you like something else from the brand or just general recommendations, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye now. Hey guys, so I've got a groovy blue for you today. This is from the Tatiana line made by Miami Cigars and Company. This is actually one of the first cigars that I smoked that I really loved. It is the first cigar that I smoked from Tatiana in general, and it's still my favorite. It's an Indonesian wrapper with Dominican filler. This is their classic Corona size, so it's 6-inch length and a 44 ring size. It is flavored with vanilla, berries, acacia berry, and cognac. It's really fragrant. It smells like raisins and sweet with vanilla scent for sure. I always say boozy quality, but that's what it is. It's like a raisiny kind of a liquory, brandy kind of a smell. So I'm going to smoke this and then cut it open at the end to show the filler and let you know my thoughts. So these work the best with a really small cut. I like to use a V cut, but I just wasn't thinking about it here. If you cut too much off, you'll get more of a problem with getting the little pieces in your mouth. But as long as you do a shallow cut, you'll be good. It has a really nice scent to the smoke. It smells like berries and vanilla and just kind of a nice sweetened scent, but not like a candy scent. And the flavor is also not candied. Like, it is sweet and it has a berry, vanilla, kind of raisiny quality to it, but not like in a candy kind of a way. Like, I've smoked cigars before that just tasted like, I don't know how else to say, like a soda or something, and this isn't really like that. It does smell sweet, but it smells like more of a natural, nice vanilla berry scent. It does produce a lot of smoke. That's something that I really love about these cigars. They're not wrapped too tightly, so they make tons of smoke, and the draw is super, super easy, which just makes it that much more enjoyable for me. About a third of the way in, it started leaving like kind of a creamy tobacco flavor in my mouth, but it's really mild. There's not a lot of flavor left in your mouth. There's not even a lot of scent left on your hands at the end. My hand just smells more kind of vanilla'd. There's a nice sweetness on the lips that lasts almost all the way through. That coating on the wrapper lasts a good while. And the smell of the smoke definitely lingers around for a while. Like, even when I'm not actively smoking it, I could smell it. And I really like that. It's a very nice, I think that people that don't normally enjoy smelling cigars would still like this. As you get into smoking it more, it becomes less about the berry flavor and more about the vanilla flavor. And as with most cigars, the faster that you smoke it, you're going to taste that less. If you let it heat up too much, you're going to get more of a bitter flavor. So you can smoke these slowly. You can set them down on the table. They'll stay lit for a good while. I've offered these to people that, don't normally or don't very often smoke cigars, and I haven't had anyone say they didn't like them yet. So they're really some of my absolute favorites. If you like flavored cigars, or if you don't, I would try these out. If you haven't tried Tatiana as a brand, I would shoot for these first because they're definitely my favorites. You can see the inside filler here. It's a short filler, but like I said, as long as you cut it shallow, you won't have a problem. Always, I'd Let us know if you smoked one of these or something else from the Tatiana line, or if you have any recommendations, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye. Hey guys, so this is the Tatiana Nightcap. It's flavored with coffee, vanilla, cocoa, and almonds. I've never smoked one of these before. I've had some of the Groovy Blues and the vanilla flavor and really enjoyed those, so I'm trying this one out today. They all come individually wrapped, and you can get a box of 25 for somewhere around $60 if you order them online. We usually use Cigars International. They're pretty good. It smells really nice. It smells like kind of like a chocolate, like a candy bar. But there's definitely some richness to it, and like I'm definitely getting a little bit of coffee, but not a ton. And I smell the vanilla as well. It is wrapped with an Indonesian wrapper, and then the binder and the filler are Dominican. They call this their classic size. It's a 6-inch length and then the 44 for diameter, which is a really like a favorite size of mine. That's one of the reasons I really enjoy the Tatianas in general. I like smoking the smaller ring size, but you can still smoke on it for a while because it's a little bit longer than the average. I'm going to let you know how long it takes me to smoke it, and then I'll cut it open at the end and show you what the filler looks like.
So it lit up pretty quickly. It's easy to draw on and produces a lot of smoke. I don't think these are wrapped as tightly as some other cigars that I've had in the past, because sometimes I have a hard time getting any volume of smoke, and these are really enjoyable because it's just so easy. It leaves a nice sweet taste on your lips, but not like a candy artificial flavor, like just a sweetness there, and that lasted through probably 2/3 of the cigar. I could still taste that on the wrapper. So that's really nice. It's got a definitely mellow tobacco flavor. It's not anything too strong. You can see that the burn is a little bit uneven, but I didn't have any problems with it going out. They seem to stay lit really well, probably because they're not as tightly packed. They would almost smoke themselves. It's easy. You can have a conversation and not have to babysit it too much. Throughout smoking, you can definitely taste some of that chocolate, a little bit of coffee. My husband said he could taste a little bit of the almond as well, but not anything that's overwhelmingly flavored. I think people that don't normally reach for a flavored cigar would still enjoy this. I think it's a great cigar for someone that doesn't smoke in general. Very user-friendly, nice, smooth, good flavor, nice taste on the lips. It didn't leave a strong scent on my hands or a strong flavor in my mouth. I didn't have a problem with pieces coming out in my mouth. It burnt really nice and smoothly. All around, very enjoyable. Let's cut this open and see what it looks like. Little shreds in there. But that's not going to keep me from buying them. I still think they're nice smokes. Not a lot comes out in your mouth. And it's got good flavor, so that's fine with me. I thoroughly enjoyed this nightcap. I would definitely recommend this to someone else. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, guys. Hey guys, so I've got another one of the Tatianas for you. This is the Sweet Euphoria. It's supposed to be flavored with aromatic dried fruits and a pinch of pixie dust. So I'm interested to see what that means for your smoke. Never had pixie dust described in my cigar before, but it smells really not all that fruity. Actually, the Groovy Blues, which has acacia berry, I think, in it, smell much, much fruitier, more like a grapey kind of a scent or something. This is, I mean, it's a sweet flavor, but it's not overly fruity at all. So maybe I'm just smelling the pixie dust. It's definitely got a sweetened wrapper. These all are, or the classic size for Tatiana is a 6-inch length with a 44 ring size, which I really enjoyed that size. I've shared before with you guys. I've tried the Groovy Blues and the Nightcaps and really enjoyed those, so I'm interested to see what I think about this one. These are made by Miami Cigar and Company, hand-rolled in the Dominican with an Indonesian wrapper and Dominican filler. It's supposed to be mild in strength. I'm going to smoke it outside and then cut open what's left and let you know what I think and show you what the filler is inside. So this definitely has the same construction as the other Tatianas that I've smoked before. Nice, easy draw, very mellow, almost would smoke itself. They don't go out very easily, just generally really easy to smoke and super user-friendly. You don't have to work hard on this one. There's a slight, maybe a coffee-ish flavor on smelling it before you get into smoking it. And maybe for the first like 3 to 5 puffs,
I taste like, you know, a slight creamy type of a flavor, but it is very, very mild flavor. Absolutely no fruit flavor. After the first like 3 to 5 puffs, I don't think you would even have any idea that this was a flavored cigar at all. You don't smell any flavor in the smoke, you know, other than just like a tobacco kind of a smell, obviously. Even the cap isn't as sweetened as the Groovy Blues or the nightcaps. That seemed to wear off after like the first couple of puffs as well. Just generally, still a nice cigar to smoke. I still enjoyed it, but it's just nothing about it what I describe as fruity at all as advertised. And certainly no pixie dust. Nothing about this would make me think, you know, that it was flavored with pixie dust or anything fruity. So, I mean, a pretty nice cigar. I wouldn't repurchase this again. If I'm gonna go for a flavored cigar, I'd rather pick something that's really going to actually be flavored. Other than that, I would just go for, you know, a nice standard cigar. So it's kind of interesting that the Groovy Blues and the nightcaps have very distinct, nice flavors, and that this one just doesn't. So not a bad cigar, but it's just not one that I would repurchase again, just based on it's not, you know, basically as advertised. It's not a fruity pixie dust cigar like they say. This has the same filler as all of the other ones. It's definitely a short filler, but I don't have a problem with it coming out in your mouth or anything like that, as usual. Okay, so that was another one of the Tatianas. I'd love to know if you've smoked any of that brand or line before, what your favorite is, or if you have any recommendations, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye now. Hey guys, this is the Tatiana Waking Dream. It's flavored with vanilla cream, hazelnuts, and whiskey. I have not tried this flavor yet, but I've tried a bunch of the other Tatianas, so a lot of those videos are on my channel. This is their classic size, so it's a 6-inch length with a 44 ring gauge. I'm going to smoke this outside and then I'll cut open what's left to show you the flavor. This is my first time using a punch on one of the Tatianas, and I will do this in the future for sure. This was perfect. I haven't had a problem with them being messy in the past, but this just kept it perfectly clean around the rim, and so that there was absolutely no chance of anything coming out in my mouth, and I really loved it. I would recommend it for sure. And this is just like any of the other classic Tatianas. The draw is perfect. They're so easy to smoke. Lots of smoke on this, and you can feel a slight resistance in the draw, but it's very easy at the same time. Just very, very enjoyable. The flavor on this has a very sweetened wrapper, probably more so than any of the other Tatianas that I've smoked in the past. And it smells like Cocoa Puffs before you light it, which is kind of funny because it's not necessarily flavored with any chocolate thing, but that's really what it smelled like to me. And then after lighting it, it has more of like a coffee, creamy, sweet scent. I'm still not picking up on any of the whiskey flavor in taste or scent, or even a raisiny type boozy flavor. There's really not any of that for me. It's just really just a sweet, creamy flavor for me. It's one of those that leaves that kind of creamy type feeling coating in your mouth, and it intensifies throughout smoking into a little bit more of like a Java kind of a chocolatey coffee kind of thing going on. But it has a very light flavor to it. It's not anything that's very strong, not a strong aftertaste. I feel like compared to the other Tatianas, this one might have gone just the tiniest bit bitter at the end, which isn't something that I normally experience, but you do have to be careful because it has such an easy draw to not smoke it too quickly, or they will get too hot and taste kind of bitter. That's something that I've noticed with them. So just take your time. They stay lit for a really long time, and these are some of my absolute favorite cigars. If you like flavored cigars and you haven't tried the Tatianas in general, you definitely need to check out some of my other videos. They are doing something right, and I really love them. But I like the size of this cigar a lot as well. The length of it is really nice. It smokes for a good amount of time. Every single stick is good. You're not going to get one out of the box that's not, you know, consistent, and they're just really enjoyable, nice cigars. So you can see here it is definitely a short filler. But like I said, using that punch was a dream. I haven't had a problem in the past with them coming out of my mouth, but with the punch, it's absolutely perfect. So I recommend that for sure. So as always, I'd love to know if you've smoked one of those before or just general recommendations, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye now. Hey guys, so I've got this Villager cigar today. It's the La Flor de Yinkling. I probably screwed that up, but I screw up all the names, so that's fine. We just can expect it from now on. This is the Robusto size, so it's a 5-inch length with a 50 for the ring gauge. This is an Ecuadorian wrapper with Indonesian binder and Nicaraguan and Dominican filler. This was made in 2007, but discontinued just due to, I think, lack of interest. But been remade recently and has just been named the number 10 cigar from Cigar Aficionado for this year. So I'm really excited to try this. It smells very, it definitely has a floral note to it, which I think La Flor, I think that means flower, so that makes sense. Flowers, cedar, it's definitely got that kind of sweet type raisiny, boozy kind of a scent for sure. It smells really, really nice, so I'm looking forward to getting into this. I'm going to smoke it outside, and then I will cut open what's left at the end so that you can see the filler and obviously give you my thoughts throughout. I used a punch on this, which worked really well. Drawing on this before lighting, there's a little bit of like a black licorice type taste with a zesty kind of citrus vibe going on. It's pretty unique. The stick itself feels very weighty, like it is very tight and firm. And there's a medium draw on this because of that. Probably a generous amount of smoke, not tons, but definitely enough, and that loosens up a little bit more the longer that you smoke it. After lighting, it smells more like leather and graham crackers, the stick itself, and then the smoke smells kind of floral and cedary. It has like a lot lighter scent than the average cigar. It smells just less charred, more, like I said, floral and of that cedar. It's a really nice smelling smoke, different than the average cigar, and I think that, you know, that's kind of a nice change. It definitely has a bit of peppery kind of aftertaste going on, nothing too strong. It's not overpowering the cigar at all. It's very creamy, very smooth, no bitterness at all. And it tastes kind of like crackers, a little bit like a salty kind of a cracker. This is a very cool smoke, like it didn't seem to get very hot. The ash held on forever. I mean, even at this point, I'm still tapping it off. So that's obviously speaks highly of the construction itself. Getting into the second third, it starts smelling even more floral. Definitely still has that cedar, and you can start smelling the citrus a little bit more, and a little bit more of the salt as well. Continues to just be really nice and creamy, very easy to smoke. It burns super evenly. And then the last third, obviously still creamy and smooth. You're still not getting any bitterness all the way down. You know how sometimes closer to the end of the cigar you're getting a little bit more bitterness, and there really wasn't any of that with this. It was very, very nice start to finish, but it definitely has a little bit more of a sweet and citrusy taste towards the end there in that last third. Slightly a taste of maybe like a milk chocolate type thing. Really nice. The flavors definitely changed up throughout this cigar, which is really nice. And the draw has loosened up at this point to where it's much easier to draw on, creating more smoke. Really, really beautiful. I mean, you can see that the construction on this is very nice. Like I said, just no bitterness at all. So smooth, unique with those, you know, floral notes, with that citrus vibe going on. There's really something a bit different about this cigar that I really enjoyed, compared to, you know, sometimes you're getting a lot of the same in different cigars, and this really had something different to offer. So I really enjoyed it. It's very smooth and easy to smoke, not something you had to worry about. Like I said, it didn't overheat or have any problems staying lit. It's definitely a nice one to have in the rotation to mix it up a bit, and I can definitely see what the buzz is about. As always, I'd love to hear your favorites or recommendations from that brand, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye now. Hey guys, so I've got this Villager Sandoro Colorado. Once again, I've probably butchered that name, but these are hand-rolled with an Ecuadorian wrapper and Nicaraguan long filler. This is the Robusto size, so it's a 5-inch length with a 50 for the ring gauge. And it smells a lot like cedar. It definitely has kind of that sweetened, raisiny, kind of a honey vibe going on to it. It smells really nice. It looks slightly kind of oily, a little bit shiny, and the stick feels pretty solid here. So I'm going to smoke this outside. I will cut open what's left at the end so that you can see the filler inside, and obviously give you my thoughts throughout. I used a punch on this, which worked really well, and after lighting, this smells like saltines mixed with kind of leather and a woodsy type scent, maybe cedar. Maybe a little bit of an oaky scent as well. It starts out pretty strong with the pepper, which levels out a little bit later on, and the draw is definitely a medium draw. There's a bit of resistance there, but it feels like a very firm stick. It feels pretty tightly rolled. The pepper definitely settles down about a third in, and it starts smelling and tasting a lot more creamy and a little bit sweeter, and that pepper isn't quite so overpowering. It tastes slightly like kind of a sweeter cracker or like a pastry crust, something like that, maybe graham crackery, with a little bit of spice to it for sure. There's that pepper settles in on your tongue a little bit, but it's not so strong that it gets to the back of your throat or anything like that. It's a nice level on that. And there's definitely kind of a cooked sugar type flavor to this as well. A little bit caramelly, definitely kind of a honey type flavor to it as well. It's very creamy. It gives you that kind of creamy mouthfeel, and it burned very evenly. The construction on this seems very, very nice, which the other Villigers that I've had seemed like really nice construction as well. So that's something nice to know. Hopefully that holds true to the rest of the line. The ash held on forever on this, which again speaks towards the construction. Very smooth, not any bitterness to this at all. Very easy to smoke. Like I said, the pepper wasn't overpowering. There was a little bit there, to give a little bit of a spice, a little bit of interest, but not so much that it's overpowering the other flavors. And I would say the flavors stayed fairly consistent throughout. I mean, it really was just kind of that sweeter, crackery, pastry crust type of a flavor with some honey and spice there. Just nice and mild and smooth, very enjoyable and easy. Not one you've got to babysit or worry about going out. I set it down a few times. I also didn't have any problems with it overheating. So just seems like a really nice quality stick here. Here's a glimpse of what's inside. Like I said, it's just definitely rolled very nicely, definitely a long filler, super nice cigar, and something I would definitely smoke again. As always, I'd love to hear your favorites from that brand or general recommendations that you think I would like, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye now.